Just like a good hot sauce, a love triangle can add some much needed spice to any boring old romance. This is exactly why some of the best romantic anime have used this trope to make the romance more exciting and captivating. And in this video, I'm going to share with you guys the top 10 romance anime that have some of the wildest love triangles. Up next, we have Fufuijo. The anime is set in a high school where students are paired up for a practical course. They are asked to live together so they could understand the ups and downs of married life. In this unique setting, Jiro is paired up with Akari, who happens to be the hottest girl in the class. But despite Akari's obvious charm, Jiro wants to ask out his childhood friend Shiori. Unfortunately, he lacks the confidence to deal with either of these girls, and he gets entangled in a love triangle that's exciting as well as heartwarming. Now, even though the anime has a lot of fan service, it has a rather serious story, which is probably the reason I keep coming back every single week. At number 9, we have Domestic Girlfriend. Now, I'm sure most of you have at least heard of this one. I mean, back in 2019, the hype around this anime was insane, and the main reason for this notoriety was the love triangle at the very heart of this anime. It all begins when our protagonist Fuji ends up making love to Rui after a mix-up. Both of them are not in a good place psychologically, and they decide to end things after this brief encounter. However, thanks to their freakishly bad luck, they end up becoming step-siblings. And clearly, the writers didn't think the story was weird enough, because they decided to add fuel to this blazing dumpster fire with the weirdest love triangle in the world of anime. It turns out Rui is the younger sister of Fuji's longtime crush, Hina, who also moves into his home. From this point on, we're treated to an absolute catastrophe of a show, which is somehow entertaining enough to keep us hooked, despite its glaring flaws and shortcomings. We have Scums Wish. The love triangle in this anime is one of the craziest I've ever seen, as it refuses to follow any of the norms. We have Hanabi and Mugi, who start what can only be described as a friends with benefits relationship. They are together just to heal their broken hearts in each other's company. As you can imagine, their seemingly simple relationship soon gets complicated as they start developing feelings for one another. But before their love story can even begin, Hanabi finds out that her best friend Ibato has been in love with her for years. Hanabi likes Ibato's affection, even if she doesn't share Ibato's feelings. All of this confuses her about the very meaning of love, and she starts ghosting Mugi. The series handles this complex and sensitive situation in a great way, in my opinion. I know many people hated how reckless these characters get at times, but thinking back to my high school days, I can safely say that teenage romance is always edgy and wild. At number 7, we have Just Because, a highly underrated romance from 2017. The anime failed to pop off because most people thought it was too slow. The chemistry between Mio and Izumi felt lackluster, and their story didn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. However, I returned to this anime last year, and I'm kinda glad that I did, because once you cross the halfway mark, the story really picks up. It all happens after Izumi meets Komiya, who is obsessed with photography. She brings Izumi out of his shell, and the two of them create a spark that makes the show way more exciting. Her spirit also seems to motivate Mio, who suddenly realizes how much Izumi matters to her. And suddenly we have a love triangle that's evolving with each episode. You won't even realize how invested you are in the story until the final episode leaves you heartbroken and longing for more. Moving on, we have Golden Time at the number 6 spot on our list. Have you ever wondered what you would do if the person you loved suddenly forgot everything about you? I mean, that sounds like a nightmare, but that's exactly what happens to Nana, who becomes a stranger to her lover, Barney, after he gets into an accident. The accident leaves him with amnesia, which makes his life miserable because he doesn't even remember anything about his parents. Hoping to get a fresh start, he decides to make a lot of friends at the university, and this is where he meets Koko. Now, Koko loves Banri's friend, but this doesn't stop Banri from falling in love with her. This confusing relationship gets even more complex when Banri meets Nana, who is also studying at the same university. He doesn't remember her at all, but Nana still loves him, so she tries her best to get him to remember their precious memories. This is a really special anime that explores love and heartbreak in a way that no show has ever done before. At number 5, we have ReZero, an anime that gave us the most famous love triangle of all time. I mean, come on, you can't call yourself a true weeb if you don't know about the Rem and Emilia rivalry. It all started that day Rem decided to confess her feelings to Subaru in one of the most iconic and emotional scenes in anime history. Subaru was a broken man at the time, and Rem's confession really helped him to get over all the shit he'd been through. It also laid the foundation of a love triangle that divided anime fans like nothing else. The Emilia stans argued that she'd been supporting Subaru since the very beginning. The followers of the Rem cult, on the other hand, pointed out how organic her love story feels as compared to Emilia's. Unfortunately, Rem's story was cut short by certain events, and Emilia ended up winning Subaru's heart. But I don't think we've seen the end of this rivalry. Up next, we have Kokoro Connect. Now let me make one thing clear. I freaking love Kokoro Connect. I believe it's a true classic, and it's a crime we didn't get more seasons of this amazing anime. The best thing about this show is just how it keeps surprising you with every episode. And the love triangle was yet another big surprise. I mean, it was established from the first episode that Taichi loves Iori, and he's going to end up with her. But then out of nowhere, we find out that his best friend Inaba has been hiding her feelings for him all along. In fact, she's been helping him with his quest to date Iori. As you can expect, Taichi becomes hella confused after learning about Inaba's feelings. Iori also begins acting differently, and suddenly we're left with an anime that's completely different from the romantic comedy we thought it was going to be after watching the first couple of episodes. There's so much drama here, and the way all these relationships are explored is just amazing. I only wish the show wasn't cancelled, because there are just too many unanswered questions that really overshadowed the greatness of this anime. At the number 3 spot, we have the Pet Girl of Sakuraso. On the surface, this anime seems like just another fun rom-com, but it might just be the most serious anime when it comes to relationships. For instance, our protagonist Sarata loves Sheena and doesn't mind looking after her, but he also feels jealous because unlike him, she actually has a dream and she is doing anything she can to achieve it. And things get even crazier when Sarata's best friend Nanami tries to win his heart. Her character goes through an insane arc, and by the end of it, I was really cheering for her. I also love the way this anime doesn't rush anything. Instead, they allow these characters to find not only their dreams, but also their feelings in the most natural way possible. At the runner-up spot, we have the Monogatari series. Now I'm sure many of you are wondering, what the hell is Monogatari series? Well, it's arguably one of the best anime series of all time. Don't believe me? Just check out my anime list, and you'll see just how much critical acclaim it has. And it totally deserves it. This anime explores the world of fantasy in the most unique and profound way possible. In this epic fantasy, our vampire MC Araragi finds himself in a love triangle with Hitagi and Hanekawa. Now this love triangle is special because Araragi starts dating Hitagi in the very first season of the series. However, as we uncover his past, we find out just how much Hanekawa means to him. And in a different life, he would have been really happy with her. But in this life, he chooses Hitagi. And you can't blame him because she's one of the most savage and well-written characters in all of anime. So our boy Araragi really got lucky. Now before we share the final love triangle on our list, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss more videos like this one. And finally, at the number 1 spot, we have Origaru, which in my humble opinion is one of the best romance anime of all time. And while there are so many great things about this show, the love triangle of Hikigaya, Yukino and Yui is the beating heart of this beautiful anime. This is probably the most realistic love triangle on the list. I mean, it kinda makes sense that two antisocial students like Hikigaya and Yukino would end up liking each other's company. Yui, on the other hand, likes our MC because of his kind nature. Her character is the most complex one in the show, and it makes sense why many fans wanted Hikigaya to end up with her. And speaking of ending, the anime certainly gave us a fulfilling ending. Yeah, we didn't get to explore the fates of many of our beloved characters, but the creators made sure to resolve everything between these three friends, and at the end of the day, that's all I really wanted. And that wraps up today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.